Good morning, Colts. This is Miss Romero. Welcome back to First Chapter Friday. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we are going to continue reading from an author named Sandra Cisneros. She wrote this story, The House on Mango Street, which is a remarkable story of a 12-year-old Esperanza Cordero. The book actually chronicles her life within a year, and it's told in a series of vignettes. Vignettes are like short little stories that you can read. It's sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes deeply joyous. It is a story of a young Chicana girl growing up in Chicago, inventing for herself who and what she wants to become. It's a beautiful story about identity and coming of age. Because it is Banned Book Week, it is also a book that has been banned. In fact, it was banned in pretty much all Arizona schools. And here's an interesting fact. In 2012, a bill was passed in Arizona that banned certain ethnic studies classes, such as a Mexican American class, a Mexican American literature class, and it included literature by famous Latino authors. So the ban was widely criticized and protested as an attempt to whitewash Arizona's educational curriculum. So in response, teachers, authors, even Sandra Cisneros, other activists, they formed a caravan in the spring of 2012. And what they did is, as a group, they went around and they distributed free copies of the book. They read from the books. They exposed people to the diversity and of different cultures and different races. And The House on Mango Street is one of them. Okay, so in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month and Banned Book Week, I hope you enjoy this week's book, The House on Mango Street. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before that, we lived on Loomis on the 3rd floor. And before that, we lived on Keeler. Before Keeler, it was Paulina. And before that, I can't remember. But what I remember most is moving a lot. Each time, it seemed there'd be one more of us. By the time we got to Mango Street, we were 6. Mama, Papa, Carlos, Kiki, my sister Neni, and me. The house on Mango Street is ours. And we don't have to pay rent to anybody, or share the yard with the people downstairs, or be careful not to make too much noise. And there isn't a landlord banging on the ceiling with a broom. But even so, it's not the house we thought we'd get. We had to leave the flat on Loomis quick. The water pipes broke and the landlord wouldn't fix them because the house was too old. We had to leave fast. We were using the washroom next door and carrying water over in empty milk gallons. That's why Mama and Papa looked for a house, and that's why we moved into the house on Mango Street, far away on the other side of town. They always told us that one day we would move into a house, a real house, that would be ours for always, so we wouldn't have to move each year. And our house would have running water and pipes that worked, and inside it would have real stairs. Not hallway stairs, but stairs inside, like the houses on TV. And we'd have a basement and at least 3 washrooms so when we took a bath, we wouldn't have to tell everybody. Our house would be white with trees around it. A great big yard and grass growing without a fence. This was the house Papa talked about when he held a lottery ticket. And this was a house Mama dreamed of in the stories she told us before we went to bed. But the house on Mango Street is not the way they told it at all. It's small and red with tight steps in front and windows so small you'd think they were holding their breath. Bricks are crumbling in places, and the front door is so swollen you have to push hard to get in. There is no front yard, only 4 little elms the city planted by the curb. Out back is a small garage for the car we don't even own yet, and a small yard that looks smaller between the 2 buildings on either side. There are stairs in our house, but they're ordinary hallway stairs, and the house has only 1 washroom. Everybody has to share a bedroom. Mama and Papa, Carlos and Kiki, me and Neni. Once when we were living on Loomis, a nun from my school passed by and saw me playing out front. The laundromat downstairs had been boarded up because it had been robbed 2 days before, and the owner had printed on the wood, "Yes, we're open," so as not to lose business. "Where do you live?" she asked. "There," I said, pointing up to the 3rd floor. "You live there?" "There." I had to look to where she pointed. The 3rd floor, the paint peeling, wooden bars Papa had nailed on the window so we wouldn't fall out. "You live there?" The way she said it made me feel like nothing. There. I lived there. I nodded. I knew when I had to have a house. A real house. One I could point to. But this isn't it. The house on Mango Street isn't it. For the time being, Mama says. Temporary, says Papa. But I know how those things go. And that's chapter 1. Because the story is written in vignettes, I did want to read from my very favorite vignette, so I hope you guys don't mind that I'm going to break the rules a little bit and just read another one of my favorite towards the end of the book on page 86. It's called Bums in the Attic. I want a house on a hill like the ones with gardens where Papa works. We go on Sundays, Papa's day off. I used to go. I don't anymore. You don't like to go out with us, Papa says. Getting too old? Getting too stuck up, says Nenny. I don't tell them that I'm ashamed. All of us staring out the window like the hungry. I'm tired of looking at what we can't have. When we win the lottery, Mama begins. And then I stop listening. People who live on hills seem so close to the stars they forget those of us who live too much on earth. They don't look down at all, except to be content to live on hills. They have nothing to do with last week's garbage or fear of rats. Night comes. Nothing wakes them but the wind. One day, I'll own my own house, but I won't forget who I am or where I came from. Passing bums will ask, "Can I come in?" I'll offer them the attic, ask them to stay, because I know how it is to be without a house. Some days after dinner, Guess and I will sit in front of a fire. Floorboards will squeak upstairs. The attic grumble. Rats? They'll ask. Bums, I say, and I'll be happy. And I hope you enjoyed 2 vignettes from one of my favorite books, The House on Mango Street. Thank you.